What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka All Fires. Now, over the holiday season, we had a ton of scoops break during the weekend leading into Christmas, and because most YouTubers took a couple of days off, and because we were already backlogged, there are plenty of videos to come in the next week here at the channel. Tons of updates for films that are right around the corner, like Captain America: Brave New World, and of course, Deadpool and Wolverine, and what that title's ultimately going to be. In the meantime, we're casting our eyes a little bit further because that's where the industry insider reports have been and what Marvel Studios is looking to do with the future of their villain. Outside of the Doctor Doom talk, which again was only added credence to as more than a theory because mainstream editorials in the last couple of months used that character by name when referring to plans considered by Marvel earlier this year, the only other villain tied to Avengers Secret Wars is the Beyonder, the villain that classically featured during the 1984 Secret Wars and was also a part of the story in 2015. Now, at the time when those scoops originated with industry insiders, it was also said that this would be a variant of Kang, or rather Jonathan Majors would be playing the Beyonder with the insinuation that he was basically the Kang Prime, or the origination of who and what Kang was. I didn't like it at the time because I didn't think it was totally necessary, but this is the MCU and the Marvel Cinematic Universe has taken liberties like this to sort of draw in characters. It would sort of make sense that you wouldn't want to build up one certain actor and character for the next 2, 3, say 8+ years, only to switch it right at the end. But now that's exactly what they might do, and we've had two huge industry insider updates over the weekend coming from two different sources that sort of paint a different picture of what they may look to do with the Beyonder, how it will explain what's going on at a meta level, and be a little more comic accurate, something a little more in line from the original publishing. We're going to break down the latest reports, where they came from, and what it means for Marvel Studios' future villain for the Multiverse saga, but first I want to tell you about today's sponsor. Now, if you guys are like me and you spend time playing mobile games, then I have to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Misplay, who allows you to earn gift cards while you play mobile games. Misplay is a loyalty app for mobile gamers, and their expansive library features all types of games for all types of players, including FPS, puzzle games, RPGs, and more. And the way it works, the more time you spend playing your favorite games on Misplay, the more points you earn to redeem gift cards at your favorite stores. What are these stores, you may ask? Stores like PlayStation, Xbox, Walmart, Amazon. It's super simple. You download Misplay, you start playing games, and earn. There's no catch, and if you're already into mobile games, then there's absolutely no reason that you shouldn't be playing on Misplay and earning. To get started, click the link down in the description and be sure to use code EVERYTHING50 to get 50 free points right off the rip. Just follow the URL down below, make sure to use code EVERYTHING50, download Misplay, and start earning today. Okay, so we're actually going to start with the most recent update and then add some context to it. This actually broke late today and coming from a more unlikely source, but one that has been right on the money and has even posted some trailers beforehand. Coming with the Scoop's cryptic 4K qual over on Twitter said today, quote, that they won't explicitly present Beyonder Kang until the aftermath of the 616 collapse, when he will then go on to establish Battleworld. So he's indicating a couple of things here, but I think most excitingly and importantly, Battleworld. Now, in a follow-up video to this, we're going to explain what I think Battleworld could look like, in the context of the Avengers films, but really the other projects that are involved, because we sort of have an idea of which films could lead into this, and while some of them may be off-world or even in other dimensions and other parts of the multiverse, say something like Doctor Strange 3, or whenever they decide to follow up on Monaco Rambeau's storyline, but it's also been heavily reported and from industry insiders that we trust, like Daniel RPK in My Time to Shine Hello, that the upcoming Deadpool 3 and Wolverine is going to feature a Battleworld portion of the movie on its own. Now, speaking of My Time to Shine Hello, and breaking yesterday on Christmas, they confirmed that the Beyonder is, quote, still the main villain for Secret Wars, and that would be actually used to explain the recast. I really honestly don't think that that's needed, just saying that, well, this is the Beyonder variant of Kang and that's why he looks different. I don't know why we have to make the Beyonder a Kang variant anyway. Maybe that's part of the storyline and will be revealed. Like I said, maybe you don't want to spend all this time focusing on a villain that isn't ultimately the main adversary they're up against, but the Beyonder was never a variant of Kang in the comics. I don't see why he has to be now. Now, one other follow-up in some of the scoops that we've had in the last week or so has basically been said that Marvel Studios is going to look to go away from Kang, sort of how you're hearing it explained here from cryptic 4K quality, that we're not going to get this Kang Prime Beyonder variant of Kang revealed until sort of towards the end, some of the other scoops have said they're going to go away from him in Avengers 5 and maybe focus on Battleworld, which Battleworld has always seen primarily the heroes and villains fighting amongst each other. And I think in a world where they draw directly from the 2015 Jonathan Hickman run, you could see something like, say, where Monica Rambeau is right now whenever they reveal what universe that is, fighting against the 616. But included in that scoop was that the 616 was going to collapse at some point. That would lead to the creation of Battleworld. Now, Deadpool scoops aside, it means that any project that takes place after Battleworld has been formed has to take place in Battleworld. You can't cut to some other movie unless you're going to make them all prequels, which is going to take a lot of planning on Marvel Studios' parts to explain that. It's going to be really hard for them to have any sort of Marvel Spotlight banner TV shows that exist in this little insular bubble on street level if the 616 has truly collapsed. So two things. I wonder how much time they're going to leave and which projects will have to suffer in between Avengers 5 and Avengers 6, or just which project they're planning on having the 616 collapse on. I also wonder how they plan on sort of addressing that and any projects that won't have the budget or the size and scope to take place in a quote-unquote battle world, whether or not they'll have to force out a bunch of prequels. And to me, I hope that that's not the case. If they don't have any sort of imminent stakes in what's going on towards the end of the Multiverse saga, just don't make the project and make it all work. That being said, and talking about stakes, I will admit that in some, especially the older runs in Marvel crossover events, that it doesn't always make sense why some of the heroes and villains are siding with who they're siding with or who they're fighting on the side of. They just needed to have this all-out war, so they've got heroes fighting heroes, villains fighting villains, whatever they use as the vehicle to make this make sense. If it truly is two dimensions against each other, if we're going to have some sort of X-Men versus Avengers, again, we're going to do a follow-up to this because I think there are some really interesting storylines that can take place in a battle world scenario and sort of sub in for where Avengers quote-unquote Kang Dynasty would have been for Avengers 5. I just hope that whatever vehicle they use to pit heroes on heroes makes sense, because it's really hard to watch a film like that when you can't buy in. Speaking of buying in, guys, what do you think is going to happen now with all of these changes at Marvel Studios, and what do you think is the best way forward? I think they have a lot of options with the villain, and I don't mind it being the Beyonder, but I definitely don't think they should make the Beyonder a variant of Kang. Just either make the Beyonder its own villain, recast Kang if you want to use him again as a villain, or use the final scene in Loki Season 2 to explain that Loki's TVA is basically rounding up and handling his variants. Loki, we already saw the God of Stories, was able to defeat He Who Remains. That can stand as the final statement as why Loki is where he is, and now we're waiting for a greater threat, say like the Beyonder or God Emperor Doom, who would ultimately have to steal his powers from the Beyonder. Alright guys, let me know all your thoughts down below. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Okay, we're still giving away PlayStation 5s at the channel, and in fact, we've got a couple coming up. One at the end of the week on December 30th for the finale of What If. I'll actually do an Easter egg breakdown for the whole season, or rather Easter eggs I think that might have something to do with the upcoming end of the Multiverse saga. There will be an announcement there. We'll then have another one drop. We'll do a watch party for Echo. Sorry guys, I know I didn't make it around for any of the watch parties of What If. I'm still hoping I might make some of the last episodes or maybe just the finale, but it's been extremely busy throughout the holiday season, a lot busier than I anticipated. I'm sure you guys understand. That being said, we've got back-to-back PlayStation giveaways. We're also going to be doing some separate giveaways after the first of the year that, again, I wanted to do for the watch parties that didn't happen. So if you want to be entered to win, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below. Because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name is Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at I'mFires. You can also find me in Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name Allfires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking out my music, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.